Hey, Vic, start off with injuries. Do you have a timetable for Davis, Gordon, and Bond?
I think Todd will miss at least a week, and then after that, we'll see how it goes. It's not the same calf he had last year, nor is it as serious as the one he had last year. Vaughn's elbow is day-to-day. I don't think he'll miss much time. Who else?
Gordon.
Gordon, same day-to-day. I don't think he'll miss much time.
And then Eli Wilkinson wasn't able to finish practice. Do you have
Yeah, he tweaked his other ankle, not the one that he had work on in the off season. I think he's okay, but again, it's early.
Okay. As a follow-up, this is a 6th straight practice today. Was the concentration and execution up to the standard?
I think it was. I thought we had a good practice going. And then when we did the live short yardage and goal line, the offense took it to the defense there pretty good. I think we didn't stop very many plays on defense, and they had their way with us there.
Next up, Arnie Stapleton, go ahead.
Hey, Vic, we've seen your rookie tight end, Alberto, really come up big in the red zone. Obviously, he has some trust factor with Drew. I'm just wondering what your early impressions are, how he can
overall, we've been pleased with his play thus far. He's obviously a big target at 6'5.5". He runs good. He's got good hands. He's been playing with a like a splint on his thumb here the last few days that he's done very well with. You can't even tell. So that's always good to see that he's not taking the easy way out with a crutch there. But overall, we've been pleased with him, yes.
Next up, Troy Rank, go ahead.
Coach Fangio, when you look at the offense, to me, looked like they were a little clunky early. When they're able to rally like that, does that start to show a sign of maturity? Because you are pretty young, we forget, on offense. Is that a sign of maturity as you advance through camp? They were able to rally?
Yeah, I was pleased with the way they finished practice, obviously, in the short yardage and goal line. But we got to make sure we can move it well enough to get down to the goal line and move it well enough to get short yardage at times. So, it wasn't our sharpest practice offensively up until the end. But, again, like I've said, I see flashes. I see the potential, but flashes and potential doesn't win in the league. We gotta feel the urgency of how close we are to this opening game and start looking really good.
Next up, Mike Kliss, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Vic, the team, the Broncos announced no fans for game 1. Just your reaction to that.
Well, it's disappointing. Like I said earlier, I watch sports, a lot of sports, as you guys know, even golf and baseball. And, it's just not the same without the fans there. It isn't. And I've always known the fans are a big part of pro sports in particular. And we're going to miss them. And we're going to miss our fans in particular. They give us a great boost and advantage at home. We love playing in front of them. There's a love affair between the fans and the players and the team, and we're going to miss it. Hopefully at some point here we can keep doing the job with the COVID that we're doing in the NFL and eventually get some fans in there, hopefully.
Next up, Eric Tamala, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, it looked like Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson were all over the place today. How have you seen those two take a step in their second season together?
Yeah, well, we expect that. It's their second season together. It's their second season in this system. They should be a lot more honed up and be able to anticipate and play plays quicker and know the fine points of our defense even better. And we're looking for big things from both of those guys.
Next up, Jeff Leckwell, go ahead.
Vic, I'm wondering, in this compressed time frame you have, when do you want to have an idea of who's playing where specifically, like in the offensive line? Or, when do you want those decisions ideally made so you can work those guys enough together?
Well, ideally, we'd like to make them as soon as possible, but we're not going to rush it yet. But as you alluded to, the first game is close. So we may have to rush it a little bit, but I don't feel that need right at this moment. But as soon as possible, but we want to make sure we're making the right decision.
Next up, Brandon Cristal, go ahead, please.
Hey, Vic, with Todd out, it looks like Josie's in there and assuming he's making most of the calls. you talked about Alexander Johnson needing to take more steps mentally. I guess he told us he gets to make calls in the penny formation. Are we at a point where you trust him to make all the calls if Josie went down and you were to give Sternad a look next to AJ or another young guy?
I can't say that I'm 100%, that he has 100% of the trust, but he is improved in that area. He will continue to improve. The more we practice, the more we play, and the more he understands everything. So we'd like him to, but he's not there yet totally.
Next up, Taylor Brooks, go ahead.
Coach, going back to no fans in the stands, unfortunately, how do your players create some energy and try to fill that void during this?
I think they'll adjust quickly. As you see in practice, with the guys that are out here, I mean, they get rolling pretty good. And, the game's not going to change. There's going to be live action going on. And I don't think it will affect the play a whole lot, but it just will affect the atmosphere.
Next up, Zach Stevens, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Malik Reed got in a lot for Vaughn today. What'd you think of him today and throughout camp?
He's been having a good camp. Malik is like these other guys we mentioned, and plus it's his second year in the league, second year here for us in the same system. So he's showing the value of what he learned last year. He got a lot of playing time last year because of Bradley's injury. So he's made nice progress here. We just need to keep improving him on the fine points.
Next up, Nick Kosmider, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Vic, obviously Courtland Sutton coming off the really big year too. What are you seeing so far from him that illustrates to you that he's ready to perhaps take an even bigger jump this season?
Well, I think he's come back in great shape. He's come back at a weight that I like. He's a few pounds heavier than he reported back last year, which I think is good for him. He doesn't want to get too light. And he's just crisper, running the routes good with more confidence. I think Drew's done a good job of throwing the ball to him. And I think he's ready to make you make a big jump many times from year 1 to year 2, which he made. And I think there's a big jump to be made from 2 to 3 also, especially at the receiver position. And hopefully we have more weapons around him too, that if teams are paying extra attention to him, that we could take advantage of that. And if they don't, because of what we have other places, he'll have more opportunities in one-on-one.
Guys, time for a few more. Next up, Mike Kliss.
Yeah, Vic, Peyton was out there, as you know, and he said afterwards, it reminded him when he was with the Colts, and that, when you were a D coordinator, you're always trying to win. You try to win every practice on defense. And he thought you did again until maybe that 2-minute drill. But is that how it is? Still as a head coach, you still kind of pull for the defense every practice?
Well, I am calling the defenses out there. So that should answer that question. But, if I see good play by our offense beating us, it does warm my heart a little bit. But, when we're out in the field, you're competing. You want to win every play, every drill. And if you don't have that mentality on either side of the ball, then you're just wasting your time out in practice. You're just going through the motions. So these guys want to win every play, hopefully, and every drill.
Next up, Eric DeLala, go ahead.
Coach, not sure how close you are with Ron Rivera, but as a fellow head coach, I was wondering your reaction to his recent cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, I know Ron a little bit. Obviously, hopeful that he'll be able to overcome this. I've heard where it's a curable cancer, and Ron's a tough guy. Deep down in his gut, in his belly, his DNA, he's got a lot of toughness. So I'm sure he's going to get through this as good as anybody can, and I expect him to beat it.
Last one, Ryan O'Halloran, go ahead.
Hey, Vic, you've been able to see AJ Bouye in person for a bunch of these practices now. What stands out about the way he gets his work done?
Well, I think he's a veteran, which is obvious. He plays with a calmness out there at the corner position, which is important. He's had a lot of balls thrown his way over the years, like all corners do. He knows how to react to whether it's been a good play or a bad play, completion or incompletion. And I like the way he plays. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He understands the game. He has made a special effort to learn our system and the fine points of it because he knows it can only help him. And he's been a real pro and a great addition.